It's a condenser mic. You don't have to like go on it. 2 minutes. 1 minute. Places. Let's hear the music.
We're live and the microphone is on.
Good evening, board members, community members, and most of all, candidates running for a seat on the HOA Board of Directors. My name is Eileen Kramer, and I am the nominating committee chairperson. I would like to thank the NOMCOM, as we're known, committee comprised of Donna Boshears, Carol Cleary, Kim Dunn, and Nancy Johnston, as well as Marilyn Whites, for their commitment, their integrity, responsibility, organization, and creativity in making this event possible. I would also like to thank Rob O'Hanlon for his on-the-spot communication with me and the candidates. Also, everyone that helped to communicate deadlines and events on Facebook, the e-sign, the door, the postings, and everything else. Tonight, our goal is to introduce these 9 candidates, one is not here, to the community. They each have received 4 questions prior to this evening that include an introduction and topics that cover community issues, teamwork, and goals. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer each question. This evening is about the candidates. Their remarks, opinions, and overall knowledge will help you decide which 3 candidates you would choose. Again, there are 3 seats available. At this time, I would ask the candidates, as I say their name, to please rise. Bill Condon, Trina Davis, Cindy Fry, Dave Garson, Leroy Leonard is absent, Bob Meltzer, Patrick Montgomery, Donna Reifenauer, and Nick Wainwright. As moderator of this event, I respectfully request there will be no audience participation and that kindness and tolerance will prevail. After the event, community members will be able to speak to candidates, ask specific questions, or just congratulate them. Also, you can contact the candidates through the HOA website, hoawedge.com. So without further ado, let's get on with the show. The first question will be asked in alphabetical order, and I am not only the moderator, but the official timer. The question is, or the topic is, an introduction, and it is, please introduce yourself to the community. Be sure to include your name and the street where you live. Not from My Fair Lady, the street where you live, if you know that song. Okay, here we go. Start with Bill. Thank you.
Tell me when you're ready.
Ready?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Bill Condon, and I live at 70 John Waits Court. Some personal information. I was born and raised in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, so not too far away. I moved to Wedgefield recently in March of 2025 from Columbia. The beautiful moss-covered oak trees here at Wedgefield make me feel very at home from Charleston. I attend St. Mary, Our Lady of Ransom Church in Georgetown. Professionally, if elected, I have a lot of education, experience, and skills that would make me an excellent addition to the WPA board. I'm a CPA, a lawyer, and I have a master's in public policy. I worked as a CPA for 18 years and had a diverse set of jobs, including working for a large international accounting firm, serving as Chief Financial Officer of the Charleston Housing Authority, and as treasurer to 2 affiliated nonprofit corporations, and serving as a senior consultant for a Silicon Valley software developer. From 2000 to 2004, I quit my job and went to law school and graduate school. My jobs as an attorney for the last 20 years have been serving as a trial attorney in the Civil Rights Division for the United States Department of Justice in Washington, D.C., serving as a securities attorney in the South Carolina Attorney General's office, managing my own law firm for 2 years, serving as managing attorney in the South Carolina Department of Revenue, litigating various state and local tax cases, serving as general counsel and general counsel at the South Carolina Treasurer's Office until I retired earlier this year. Finally, in 2017, Governor Henry McMaster appointed me to serve as a commissioner to the South Carolina Retirement System Investment Commission, which manages the $50 billion pension funds here in South Carolina, and I'm still a commissioner. And over the years, I've served on numerous committees, including East Cooper Community Outreach, Regent University Alumni Board, and the Heritage Village Homeowners Association. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
It's not really that long. Okay. My name is Trina Davis. I live on Swamp Fox Lane. I've lived here over 10 years. I've been involved with the HOA and on different community, Women of Wedgefield for 5 years. I was on the board for communications. I look at my notes. I chair the communications committee, the legal committee, the community liaison, and Women of Wedgefield. That's all for now.
Hi, I'm Cindy Fry. I live at 2165 Wedgefield Road, and I've lived here for 3 years. When we first moved to Wedgefield, I got involved. I came to the first meeting, and it was that pool town hall that we went to. I brought my checkbook because I was ready to sign up, but instead they wanted volunteers. I said, "Put me in, coach," and they did. Next thing I knew, I was knocking on doors, asking questions. Next came welcoming committee the next year. After that, we had 3 board members who quit, and I was selected to be your treasurer. After that, this year, I'm now the welcoming chair and communications chair. I have a strong background, and I've done, excuse me, I'm just losing my train of thought here, so please forgive me. I have been doing community service. I have held every elected office and nonprofits from treasurer to secretary to president to vice president. I have a degree in psychology, a bachelor's in education as well. I've done real estate, legal. I've been a teacher, and I'm from South Carolina. So I'm going to ask you guys, put me in again, coach. Let me work for you. Let me continue working for you. Let me do what you need us to do. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is David Garson. I reside on Jericho Court here in Wedgefield with my wife Kelly since 2018. We enjoy playing golf with friends here that we have met. We enjoy the beautiful surroundings that Wedgefield Plantation offers. I've served on the finance committee when Cindy was the treasurer, and I hope to help our HOA operate again. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Bob Meltzer. Currently reside at 52 Governor Johnston Road. My wife Linda and I have resided out here in Wedgefield since 1997, so just over 28 years. First lived out here, we rented in the condos from July 97 to February 98. February 98 to January 2001, we lived on Governor Johnston Road in another home. And in 2001, we purchased the home we're in now and have lived there since. Moving down here from Illinois, we looked all over the coast for a town to call home and a place to call home, and we kept coming back to Wedgefield. I recently retired after 47 years with the same company, Pettinghouse Corporation, that I had worked with my first 20 years in Illinois and my last 27 years in Andrews, South Carolina. The last 20 years of that, I was a chief operations officer. And putting in 60, 65 hours a week, I'm now extremely bored and need something to do. Now, there's two people you can help by electing me to this board, and that's one, my wife, because she needs me out of the house, and number two are my neighbors, because right now I'm mowing my grass every 4 days and the pressure's on them. So if elected, I'll do my best for Wedgefield. I'll give it 110%, just like I gave my job. I would love to be on this board to serve you all. I've been around and I've known what's went on out here. I guess if I'm not elected and it's because of where I live, then I can understand that. And hopefully it doesn't go that way. But I can understand. Thank you for the opportunity.
Hello, my name is Patrick Montgomery. I live on Robert Conway, but I'm also an owner of a condo as well. I moved here in 2022 as a weekend getaway, and my family and I fell in love with the area so much that we sold our house in Lexington, and now we live here full time. I'm not sure who the board was in 2022, 2023, but the feeling when we first moved here was of togetherness and positivity, and the energy shifted sharply as we began 2024. About myself, it's in my resume, but I served in the U.S. Coast Guard for 20 years after becoming a drama school dropout and receiving a bachelor in science without ever taking a science class. I thought that was a pretty good accomplishment. In the Coast Guard, I hung out of helicopters at Deepwater Horizon over the flames and did really cool stuff. But what I want to do here could be just as cool. I believe in as a community, and I've been in very many communities. I've lived in 12 states, East Coast, West Coast, North, South, Gulf Coast, everywhere. And this is the most beautiful place I've ever been. This could be the best place in the area, but it cannot happen, soapbox, but it cannot happen unless the board changes their behavior. We must make this a better place for all of us to live here. Please allow me to represent you for the HOA. Thank you.
My name is Donna Reifenauer. I live on John Waite's Court. Right? I'm not going to give you a history of my background. I don't want to do this, but the board needs different people. You need representation from everywhere around the community, and we don't seem to have that. So elect me or elect more people with the same interests, but I'll work with you.
Hi, folks. So I'm Nick Wainwright. I live at 134 John Green Lane. I'm from the UK, you may have guessed. I've been over in the US for about 22 years now. I spent 10 years in the British military, which was a fantastic time, and I am a US citizen. I married Liz and brought her to the meeting. We actually got married here at in the Wedgefield country home. We had an absolutely fantastic time. So we actually, started when we were planning on retirement. We started looking around. Liz has been around this neck of woods a lot longer than I have, and she brought me to Wedgefield, and I immediately fell in love with the place. It fulfilled all our requirements: boating, golfing, just an absolutely beautiful place to live, and I'm so happy to be here. We've got 3 children. All of them live away from home, unfortunately, but we're going back to see them pretty soon. So from a professional standpoint, just before I retired about 3 years ago, I spent 14 years at Comcast. I was a senior executive. I looked after the field and technical operations for something called the Big South region of Comcast, and that covered about 10 states of the US. I had about 2,500 people working for me for that time, and I managed budgets in the process approaching $500 million in terms of operational and capital expenditure. Thanks. Prior to that, I used to work for another company where I had full profit and loss responsibility. So I think I've got a great background to serve on the board. And as far as people negotiations go, I've had tons of experience. So thank you for listening to me. We'll speak again soon, I'm sure.
Should I do my
Pick a card, there you go.
my croupier? They're picking a card to see what the order of their answer is, so as not to have the same people in the same order. But it might be a good one. Okay, so obviously an ace is the first person, and two is the second, etc. The second question is about community issues. Also, these questions came from community as well as our nominating committee. So that's where these questions come from. And we think they're pretty great. Community issues. What do you see as the most important issue facing our community this year, and how would you address it? So whoever's won, go. You can just
I can keep that.
No, don't keep it. They were my mother's cards. Thank you.
Time to go?
Yep, thank you.
All right, I thought about this one a little bit, and I came up with one word: perception. Perception of our community, perception of our HOA board, perception of the people that live here, perception of all the social media and face-to-face bickering going on out here, perception of the name calling and the pictures we all get entertained with, perception of who's right and who's wrong out here, perception of the constant division we have going on. As I said in my resume, it starts at the top. When we can get our board to come together as one, we'll have a chance to succeed. When we have a board vote of 5-4 or 6-3 or 7-2, the minority has to become the majority. So we all work together. Once we make that decision and we're all together, we pull together, we endorse the winning side, and it's a done deal. Leave it alone. Currently, that doesn't go on. It goes on and on and on, and we have to stop it. To have a healthy environment out here, once again, it starts with this board. The board can make it better for everyone. Everyone can make it better for the board. Again, thank you.
Two?
Two. Thank you.
All right, here I'm back. I think it would be unwise to assume that I can correctly identify the most important issue facing our community, because there's numerous barriers that at this point prevent me from doing that, I think, in order to do it correctly. You know, I've only lived here for 9 months. Doesn't mean I'm not qualified, but just means I haven't been here enough or long enough to know the context. Not being part of the discussions that the present board has had over the years, or even more recently, not having access to critical records and reports, no way to know what unknown or undisclosed problems exist, and then trying to determine who and what to believe based on the incomplete and inaccurate records and reports I've seen, discussions with many current board members and homeowners, my observations of chaotic board meetings and questionable board members and homeowners' actions, and the acrimony that currently fills our community. Clearly, my strengths lead me to focus on financial matters, and I've seen numerous HOAs and nonprofits where fraud has been committed, fraud and or mismanagement has been committed. You know, and oftentimes that's because the board members weren't qualified to establish proper internal controls. They weren't qualified to identify weaknesses in those policies so that there were controls to prevent errors, theft, and mismanagement. And as volunteers, we all know we have limited time. So we don't sometimes we don't give the adequate time or make the time to do what's necessary because it's a big job. And we did not, or they often don't hire qualified staff or professionals or don't oversee them. So I have 4 goals, and I've only got a short time, so I'm going to briefly say them. Transparency before, during, and after meetings. Safeguard WPA's assets by having internal controls and following them. Professionalism in everything we do, and be proud of our HOA again. Thanks.
Based upon my experience as a federal, state, and local crisis communications officer and public affairs officer, I thought about it and I kept coming back to ourselves. Our issue in the community is definitely ourselves, me included at times. The vast majority of the residents of Wedgefield, senior leaders of the HOA board allows and encourages negative behaviors of a loud dozen or so malcontents that undercut the residents, stifle fair and honest communication, and drive potential home buyers from moving into our neighborhood. Homes here, besides the economic situation, do sit for way too long, even with the homes cutting the prices over and over again. From the very top, the board refuses to act on serious complaints from homeowners, most even without a reply. Many emails I hear from a lot of people are not even answered, not even a courtesy, buzz off, nothing. The board also leaks these complaints to the malcontents to further cause discord, hate, and keep an environment in chaos. I saw this yesterday when I sent in 2 serious complaints and did not hear a word back, and a person mentioned on Facebook that they heard about it. There's no way that was out except for a leak. So again, this is an organizational chaos, and we need to do and get better for all of us. Thank you.
Get past my nerves now. I agree, transparency, but I don't think if we have a 7-2 vote, we need to all get behind. I think we all need to say in everything that happens, and we need to talk about it openly. No secret meetings. No, you can't talk about this. Transparency. Where's my thumb? Transparency. Everything, we're going to go to my favorite, conflict of interest, all of that should be talked about in open meetings so the entire community feels like they know what's going on, because half the time we don't. That's why people are mad. Half the people probably don't know why they don't like the other people. They just don't have the information. They don't have enough of the information. I believe we need more information to our community. I don't know if I was even on the right question.
It was good.
I feel the most important issue facing our residents is how our HOA is managed to benefit all our residents regardless of where they reside, either the golf course or canal front. Our HOA must be managed in a fair and bylaw-abiding manner without any personal agenda, factoring into the board decision on how our funds are spent. Thank you.
I know the clock is ticking and we're supposed to be talking about the issues right now. I don't want to talk about the issues. Why can't we talk about the good things about Wedgefield? You know, that's really what I want to talk about. But I've got a question we need to answer, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I struggled over it, but I kept going back to the board. We have an issue with this board, not only this board, but the previous board. They don't have a focus. We didn't have one last year. We don't have one this year. We don't know our community. We don't know what you, the community, wants. We don't know who you are. We don't know how many kids are in the community. We don't know what your standards are, what you want the focus of. We don't know how to get along. We don't know how to be professionals. We don't know how to be friends. We need to get back to that. We need to become we. We need to find out how to be a team again. I don't know how that stopped. When did that stop? When do we go back to that? So I have a plan, and in the final question, I'll get back to a plan of what I think we resolve and how we resolve some of these and my goals. But I think we have to start having professionalism with this board. We have to learn how to work together. We have to be a team. We have to be we. We have to be we in Wedgefield. And we start with this board. We start with the next year's board. And I hope you will invite me and elect me to be part of that board, because I can be a team player. Thank you.
Okay, mine's a little more direct because I actually just have an answer to the question. So it's actually have a two-part, but one part I'm going to address later. I think our biggest concern in the community right now is our drainage issues, and I think Adam would agree with this. We have money right now in our reserves for the last 2 years in our budget for a drainage study of the whole neighborhood. We have different situations. Some of us are on the canals, some are in condos, some are on Francis Parker, where there have been all these houses built, and the drainage is awful because it's different from house to house. Some are just open lots. So I think we need to come up, do it, spend the money, which I saw in the budget, right? Yeah, it's in there. Spend the money, hire the company to do it, and then make a plan that will work for our entire neighborhood, since we're almost built out now. It makes the most sense. That's all I have for now. Thank you.
It's hard going last, so ditto.
You'll go first.
Okay, I'm going to get a little bit more specific. So I've got 4 items here. The first one is the dredge. Let's get the elephant out of the room, okay? We've got to sort the dredge stuff out because it's divided this community. It's a terrible. I'm not innocent. I've played my part on Facebook just like many other people have, but I vow today I won't respond to any more comments on Facebook. It's got to come to an end, though. We've got to come to an amicable solution on how we're going to move forward with this dredging scenario. Hopefully we can find a middle ground. Number 2, money requirements. So I think from 2015 up until a year or 2 ago, there had been no increase in HOA dues. That didn't even keep pace with inflation. And so the money that we were paying in 2015 and the money we were paying in 2023, the buying power of that money just diminished dramatically. We've got to keep pace with inflation, maybe even a little bit more. It's not a nice thing to say, but if we want to deliver things for the community and the community wants to grow and we want to develop things, we need more money. Number 3 is the fair distribution of the HOA dues. You know, I know we've got the condo association that don't feel they've had a fair crack of the whip with all of this money. We've got to be fair and open for everybody across the community. And from a board perspective, openness really is key. It's been quite a trying time. For many people have mentioned it here that it's a trying time for them. The board is very divisive, and I do agree that, discussion, argument are incredibly healthy things to be had, as long as you can keep it in private. And once you've discussed and argued, and you can gripe all you like, but you've got to come out of there with a common understanding of what the answer is, and you stick to it. Whether you're on the... Okay, I've finished. It's amazing how quick 2 minutes go. I thought, oh my God, I'll never be able to talk for 2 minutes, but there you go.
Okay, now I'm going to go this way.
Somebody's car, their lights are flickering on.
Card?
May drain their battery.
On a cart?
I think it's a green and a white card.
Okay.
I thought it's right out there. It's right by the city. It's not that far. That's what I That's awesome. I think it's mine. That's how I think I would.
Anybody have a good joke or something? Like an HOA joke?
People walk out to check.
Well, we have to wait for Patrick.
Here you go.
Okay.
It was not mine.
Okay, we good? Everybody good? Okay. Thank you for being patient. The third question is a question about teamwork. This is describe a time when you worked as part of a team with people who had different opinions than your own. How did you handle it? Random order.
Tall one gets to go first. Okay. So, I have found that if you're professional, if you show respect, if you listen to people, you can get through just about any conflict. But the most important thing is you've got to listen to people. You've got to keep your mouth shut and truly listen and see what they have to say. So what many of you don't know is that last year while I was on the board, there was a specific board member that I quite frequently had conflict with, and she and I would argue a lot. We would debate in public, in private. Sometimes our voices would be raised. We would never do it via email because I think you have to have those debates, privately and out loud. Then we'd come to a board meeting and we would debate it in public, and then we would vote. Quite frequently, Marilyn would vote one way, and I would vote the other, and we would cancel our votes out. Then that night, we might talk about it some more, but the next morning we would get up and we would start up all over again and work together as a team. We always tried to listen to each other, just as I try to listen to the people on the board now and people on the community, and I go from there. This is how I've run my businesses, how I've managed people in the past as a supervisor, as a boss, as a president of an organization, and when we started a nonprofit. That's how I deal with conflict, politely persistent and as a listener. Thank you.
Ready? Okay. So my biggest challenge working with a team, I would say, would be on the HOA board. Getting 9 individuals to agree on anything is nearly impossible, never less 5 minimum. The cards are falling all over here. Eileen, if you want to take these. So I started working on the cable spectrum deal when I was on the board. So for a year, I researched, I worked with Spectrum, and it had been around a couple of times previously and never went through. So I had a team that I worked with. Some of them are still on the board now. It was challenging. A lot of people didn't want to do it or anything to do with it. There was a lot of conflict. I tried to ask a lot of questions from people that weren't thrilled about it. Some of them aren't here, just so I could find out what people's concerns were and how to address them, where to go with those concerns, get questions from the rep, etc. And so finally, it did work out, and it's been in place. Am I running out of time? For over a year now, and it's going well. We're actually in a positive place, and it's worked out well. So that's my biggest challenge, I would say, is getting 9 people to agree on anything and work as a team. It's hard. It's harder than anything, actually.
As an executive operating the food and beverage department of a large company, I often had to meet with various labor boards in dealing with employee grievances and how decisions affected the overall operation of the various departments. Being able to listen and negotiate is the most important outcome for solving problems. That's what I intend to do. Thank you.
Okay, that's what I thought it was for.
4 or 5, what's the difference? All right, ready? This is a great question because the current acrimony in our community is embarrassing and detrimental to our community. I was in the county library last week, and the librarian I talked to, I was making some copies and things about WPA, and she said, "Why are you running for the board there? That's a crazy place." And I said, "Well, I think I can help." In my experience, I think the answer to having calmness in the midst of differing opinions lies in 3 things: good communication, being kind and respectful to others, and showing humility. And humility would include listening. As I've stated, I served on the Retirement System Investment Commission, an 8-member public body that oversees about 45 employees. Regarding communication, I am known as the commissioner who asks a lot of questions and make the commission address issues that I believe should be discussed, but that no one else wants to raise. This takes time, but I believe it is part of my fiduciary duty to ask these questions and encourage important discussions. Even in my questions, if nothing happens, if nothing changes, I believe that having a record of those questions and answers and discussions in the minutes, hopefully, would help to document that the commission has addressed the related issues and has at least arguably fulfilled its fiduciary duty. Regarding being kind and respectful, I often discuss those concerns with the CEO and with the chairman of the board. I don't go into the meeting just blindly. So I listen to their comments, and I try not to surprise anybody. In humility, I'm not in control of anything. I'm not in control of anything at the Investment Commission, and the same would be here. I am one of 7 votes on the commission. All I can control is my 1 vote, and the second thing is ensure that I comply with my fiduciary duty to the pensions participants and beneficiaries, and that would be to the residents here. If I'm elected to WPA, I will exhibit the same level of communication, kindness and respect and humility to everyone in our community. Thank you.
Okay, kindness, humility, that's all nice, but we need clear rules. Clear rules, accountability, clear rules, strict, unambiguous code of conduct, actual steps and consequences if you don't follow it. If you have rules, then people can behave themselves. If you don't have any rules, people can say whatever they want. You think one thing, you think another, but if there's a rule and you're following it, it puts more structure into it, and it helps the whole community come together, I think. There.
Thank you.
Once I seen this teamwork question, I was my first thing was that's too easy for me. And The first thing I put down is teamwork makes the dream work. And I want you to remember that. And that's what we have to start thinking about out here. Teamwork will make this dream out here work again. As a chief operations officer at a manufacturing plant for the past 20 years, teamwork is all I know. We didn't become a successful plant in Andrews without it. You know, when we came from Illinois to Andrews in 1997, that's all I heard. You won't be there 6 months. Then you won't be there a year. And then you won't be there 2 years. And now 27, 28 years later, we're still in Andrews. What I mean by team, we had all the members of the production planning committee, all those in purchasing, all the supervisors, and lastly, all the employees on the floor doing production. Did we have differences? Yes. Did we have discussions to bring us all together? Yes. Did we appreciate input from anyone and all of them? Yes. That made us successful. That made it easy. When everybody buys in because it's everybody's idea. When you take somebody's idea and you all use that as your goal to get there, you're going to get there. So once again, this question was quite easy for me because it's all I know is teamwork. And I look forward to working with this board. And I think with teamwork, we can make it happen. Thank you.
Okay, so in my career at Comcast, I've had, I don't know, 2.5, nearly 3,000 people working for me, from call center operatives to high-end network engineers designing and building networks. And so there's been a huge gamut of skill sets across the folks I've managed. And you can bet your bottom dollar they all have different requirements. It's sometimes not the easiest thing to try and fix, but I think somebody mentioned it earlier. But in a negotiation, there's always some common ground. There is always somewhere you can negotiate. You can always budge. Anybody who's set in stone and won't budge, it doesn't become a negotiation anymore. So the idea behind this is to find that common ground, build on that common ground. Everybody can give a little, everybody can take a little, but that's the way you solve a negotiating problem. For the board, we got a bit of work to do, I believe. It is very polarized at the moment. There's definitely two camps within the board that we need to get over. We need to chat through it. We need to work as a team. We need to solve our differences and move forward and make this community fantastic to live in. Thank you.
All right, to borrow from Bob, I'll do one more. Team, together everyone accomplishes more. Okay, and it does take work. As a retired military officer, to include 2 all-service military commands, being at the Coast Guard, I was always the only Coast Guard person there. So I dealt with an uphill battle many times. I know opinions may vary, but in a situation like that, I always reminded myself that I do not know what I do not know. So you ask questions with that ego, and you have to be willing to listen and adapt. We have to collaborate and come to a common solution. Now, Wedgefield has a lot of diversity, meaning we have many backgrounds, and we all live here in Wedgefield. Many of us come from different ways of life. Many of us are not native from South Carolina, but we need to use that as a strength. Now, with that being said, I'm kind of tying back to what's been said many times tonight, but it is very true. Once a board makes a decision, a board vote that is balanced with upfront research and individual board members representing the community, we need to stick to that vote. Then we plan and make that the best we can. As a young officer, you may get one yes, but sir, while gently pushing back on a decision. But after that, you salute the flagpole and you move on. This board does not do that. They resort to underhanded, backdoor tactics that wipe out the trust in the community, and there's no respect in the process. I've seen it again and again in the few years I've been here, whether it's the pool, the cable, the dredging, everything is a fight, and nothing ever gets done. We need to change that, and we can do it together. Thank you.
Now we're on question number 4, the final question, which pertains to goals. The question is, if elected to the board, what accomplishments would you hope to achieve? And we're going to go in reverse alpha. Nick, so you're up. So you're number 1. There you go.
Okay. So, what do I want to achieve? Number 1, board unity. I think it's a tough job. It's been said many times, but we need to have a common front from the board. We do need togetherness. We need to agree, move forward in one direction, hopefully the correct direction. It's a really tough job, so I do empathize with all of you who are currently on the board. I think there is little opportunity for you to push back against the comments that are being made against you on Facebook and every other piece of social media we've got. Everybody tries their best. Everybody wants the best for the community. Sometimes it doesn't please everybody all of the time, or some of the people some of the time. And you can't push back, and I think that's really unfair. So congratulations to you all for being calm and level-headed for that one. The next thing I think is we need neighborhood togetherness. It's a huge neighborhood, 560 odd homes in the neighborhood. It's beautiful when it comes in. We've just got this pall of dissatisfaction hanging over us. Let's get rid of it. Let's really have some good togetherness in the neighborhood. We need fun. We need a committee for fun or something, right? Because what we've got is a committee for glum at the moment. And then, if we can do all of that, let's make Wedgefield the number 1 place to live for the community within South Carolina, because who the hell wouldn't want to live here? It's fantastic. It's beautiful. I get a kick every time I drive up the road. I really do. I never, ever thought I would be able to live in a place like this. So let's make it great and have fun.
What do I hope to achieve? I would like to see, again, more transparency. Just everything we do on the table so everybody sees it. There's less arguing. And I'll be the squeaky wheel. Don't worry about it. Everything needs to be out there. It will take care of a lot of our arguments, a lot of our things we really don't disagree that much on, but it's a fight on Facebook now, so let's go. I think just transparency.
All right, so the question should really be, what do we hope to accomplish? And it is easy to forget as homeowners and residents of Wedgefield that it's not just about the short term. We are all just passing through this beautiful place that we call home. How many of us can really say that we'll be here in the next 30 years to see this place? Not many of us. We need to see past our own garbage and be the best stewards for this community that we can. Make it better for those buying our house in the future. Let's build a playground to make the community seem more welcoming. Let's make sure that we keep the beauty of our waterfront. That includes drainage and dredging. And let's keep our waterway access intact. Let's put in that walking trail. Let's not be dragged to the ground by the negativity of the cackling hyenas of Facebook and make this a yes place where we can live. What can we do right now? Well, we can do a playground in a common area. I have a good relationship with the country club, and I believe we can come to a good resolution for a high-profile area for a playground to benefit everybody. I would like to work with the various condo regimes to have shared use of the pool while we research if there's another solution to a pool area. Or maybe time will tell that another pool is not needed. But let's have that discussion. There is also a large common area by the condos that appears to be once used for a basketball court. It is a win-win that we maybe can come to an understanding to utilize the area. Maybe it's a pickleball court, a playground. I don't know, but we can talk about it. We just need to ask questions and keep an open mind. Thank you.
Okay, goals looking forward. Of course, I'm a firm believer in planning. And currently, we have this 5-year planning committee going on. We have this long-term dredging committee going on. Problem is, we went a lot of years not looking forward, not looking at anything. We didn't look at 5 years, 10 years down the road. And now we've fallen behind. Funny thing is, been out here 28 plus years. And the things we've added to this community, we've kept the roads up fairly well. We've added a second floating dock down at the landing. We've fixed bulkheads at the landing and at Governor Johnston Road. We have the Spectrum package, which a lot of people didn't like the way it went down, but personally it saved myself and Linda $130 a month. We're all happy. We have a new HOA office building, and we've dredged it a few times. I might have missed something, and if so, let me know, but I tried to just do it by memory of what we've gotten in 28 years, and it's nothing. It's really nothing when you look at it. We have very little to be excited about. Now, I can understand how dredging becomes a sore subject because everybody else out here feels like they've gained nothing. And in 28 years, we've dredged, fourth time coming. So I get it. We had a pool. We lost a pool. It was run by the board out here. People on the board ran the pool on the side. It wasn't ours. It still belonged to the golf course, but we were able to run a pool. Let's explore. There's a nasty looking woods at Governor Johnston and Wedgefield Road along hole 16. I know nobody wanted a pool back here. Let's get rid of that woods. Let's put a park. Let's put parking. Let's put a pavilion with water, electricity. Let's put a walking trail, tennis courts, pickleball courts, and maybe the pool. Well, let's do something with that property. Nobody wants it here. That's the spot to put it. It's in nobody's backyard. Thank you.
My goal, if elected to the board, is to help contribute in organizing our 5-year plan of action, operating within the constraints of our budgets as outlined by the Finance Committee, to make sure that our monies are spent in an equitable fashion that benefits all our residents in accordance with our bylaws, covenants, and policy rules as written. When we first moved here, my wife and I searched all the way from North Myrtle Beach all the way down to Charleston, Mount Pleasant, and we stumbled on Georgetown, and we stumbled here, and we thought it was the most beautiful place to retire. I hope to maintain that. Thank you.
Bob, I agree with so many of the things you said. Thank you. I really agree with you. Last year's treasurer, one of the things I did was I put together a list of 6 things I wanted to accomplish. But I knew as a new treasurer in 6 months, I would not be able to accomplish many of them. We accomplished some. I put together a packet. It's about 60 pages of how we can get together and talk to you, the community, to find out what your goals are, what you want, do you want a pool? Do you want a pickleball court? What your priorities are. I talked about who you are. How many kids do you have? How many cars do you have? How many boats? How important is the boat landing to you? What do you want? If I ask a board member these questions, you guys don't know it. I have detailed questions to ask, dialogues. How do you get the community involved? How do you go back and you compile that information? How's the board going to decide? That is one of my goals that I have for next year if I'm elected to this board. I have five other goals for you. I would love to talk to you about it. I can't do it in 2 minutes, but I will stay later if you want to talk to me about it. I also have my little sheet here that I'll give out to you later. But I am going to also do a shameless plug. We still have Food Truck Tuesdays every Tuesday night until the weather gets bad. Thank you. Goodbye.
Okay, so I'm going to start with what I had planned first. What's the question? Goals. Okay. Sorry. My goals, I have several goals. My first goal is for a better sense of community within and outside the gate. When I was on the board before, I think we did a pretty good job of having events and other things, Food Truck Tuesday, whatever, rodeo, luau, whatever it was, inside the gate. And we didn't have any other really major issues other than Spectrum. So we were pretty together. As Patrick mentioned, it was like 23, I think. But right now it's awful. We don't really hang out together. No one's together. No one comes to the meetings. No one really hangs out at the pub much anymore. So, and outside the gate, like at the library, someone mentioned, we need help. We need to get off the Facebook pages. I've left a lot of them. It's awful how many people or public outside our community are watching all this stuff going on. It's bad. So that's one thing. I know we can't do anything about that page, so I'm not even going to go there. I think we need a plan for new affordable amenities. We have almost 150,000 sitting in the bank doing nothing. And the last one, I'm starting to lose my track now. We need to create a forum for all members to have a friendly, monitored communication with no name calling besides the bulletin board that we have now. And I think people need to get involved to see the information. A lot of the information, is out there. No one comes to the meetings. No one goes to the sites online to see the stuff. And we're just talking to ourselves. And people used to say to me, oh, I didn't know we were having a luau. Well, it's on the sign. Do you want me to send smoke signals? I don't know how else to communicate with people. We have Facebook. We're not going to mail a letter every time.
It is different being last. Sit there and get all jittery. Okay, I'm going to deviate from the script. Being a financial guy, people have come up and talked about we don't have that. That's per the bylaws. It's supposed to be part there and costed out so that our treasurer can help prepare the budget. How can we make any of these decisions with all of those financial things up in the air? I don't think we can. So my goals, and I got to shorten them, finish the audits, update the accounting. I think there's different reasons for different ways to shift the financial statements for different reasons, like tax versus financial statement, maybe different accounting methods. We need that 5-year rolling plan, and so we need an active committee. That's a lot of work, cost out all 5 years. We need to make sure our policies are set to secure our assets. We need to consider outsourcing property management. We need to adopt Robert's Rules of Order and specifically and say how we're going to apply it here, and that includes raising your hand. Everybody can't talk at the same time, and how that should work. And Robert's Rules has that out. And lastly, we need to be proud of our HOA again. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for coming and listening. I think it was a very productive evening. For me, it was great to listen to the candidates and hear what you want to do and what you want to achieve here. I thank the candidates for offering their time. to run for an office here and our interest and love of this community. And I thank the audience for being so great, and I look forward to meetings like this in the future. I'd like to say that if any of you would like to speak to the candidates after this meeting, that would be appropriate, or you can contact individual candidates via email through hoa.wedge.com. And without, yes, ma'am.
Did Shirley Nilsson remove herself?
Yes,
as a candidate?
I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that. She did remove herself. She is still on the ballot. She removed herself after the ballot was printed, but she is no longer a candidate. As far as I know, Leroy Leonard is still a candidate. Okay. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Is this someone's pen?
I was about to say, is this someone's pen? I found it on the floor.
Is this yours?
No.
Great job, everybody. It really was great.